Like each act was an emotion in itself. Each track had its own emotions. Like Solo Dolo, going back home from drinking all night, partying with the guys. That was my track because I'm Solo Dolo, just taking my own trip, fucking scared if I'm gonna make it home or not, or because you're doing dumb shit when you're drinking and driving. I don't promote that, ladies and gentlemen. We got Uber now. Fucking take an Uber. It's 30 seconds. You good? Get home.
Uber's a game changer.
Yeah, facts. I wish I had it back then in the day. I would have been lit. Third album of the on the list is my album. Personal favorite of my album, actually. I like top for me. Is Kid Cudi.
Your favorite album of all time, you're saying?
Yeah, because it's just how it's an impactful album for me. So it's definitely
earned its title for sure.
Yeah. Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon. This album is a non-skippable album. You can't skip on this album, front to back. It's a fantastic album. Little background history on how I got to actually getting a hold of a hang of anything with Kid Cudi was on MySpace. Kid Cudi had a MySpace, and that's where he was dropping his music. And Day and Night, his most iconic song that he ever dropped, that everybody knew when it dropped, got me into it. But it was with Michael. Another shout out to Michael. May he rest in peace. Me and him would play Kid Cudi a lot when we go out to Wet Willie's and drink and all that shit.
What's that Jackie Chan song?
It's also one of those realms in there too. Like that's me and Michael shit. Like every time that song comes on my playlist, I just remember me and Michael sitting there fucking
rolling,
vibing out.
rolling. We ain't slept in
weeks. Yeah,
bro, it's bro. That whole era was epic for me, man. Like it was a good time. Like getting out of high school, partying, trying to chill, vibe, and Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon is. Or a lot of people don't understand too. With Man on the Moon, there's acts in the album, right? So like, people would be like, "Oh, why is it like Shift or something?" The first three songs, right? In My Dreams, Soundtrack to My Life, and Simple As. That's Act 1. That's the end of the day. That's like where the whole album ties into. So there's a concept behind it. I would assume Pucho already knew that and stuff because obviously he says he's a concept guy, but.
I actually didn't know that at all. You're putting me
I didn't
on.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting actually that the four of us all kind of chose like these concept albums, these albums that are all like these kind of like interconnected stories, and I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that was what that speaks to specifically, but I thought it was a weird little like tidbit there.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
I think. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I think with a lot of these albums too, like. This topic is really dope because it forces you to sit down and listen. Like I know normally on a day-to-day basis, like if somebody recommended me an album, I might just brush through while I'm playing video games or on the phone or something like that and not really getting the meat and potatoes of it. But I didn't know this album was broken down in acts because it clearly doesn't tell you that. But it makes sense because there are parts in here once you really listen to it. So yeah.
You'll hear the difference. And the
They even
ambiance.
sprinkle in like little skits at the end of tracks to kind of be like, all right, we're moving on to the next piece of this. Like,
definitely. And there's 5 acts. So like, I wrote it down here in notes. All right, so Act 1, obviously, end of the day. Then Act 2 was titled Rise of the Night Terrors. And that's where you get Solo Dolo, you get Heart of a Lion, My World. Then they'll come into Act 3, Taking a Trip. That's where you get the classic Day and Night, The Sky Might Fall, Enter the Galactic. This is where he's tripping and he's just vibing out. And that's where the more upbeat of the album start coming into play. And then you get the Stuck title, or the Stuck Act, where it's Alive, Cudi Zone, and I Make Her Say. And Pursuit of Happiness, one of my favorite on the whole album, even though Day and Night's like a thing, but Pursuit of Happiness is one of my favorites. It's on there.
And got the legendary MGMT on there.
Facts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into the Act 5, which is A New Beginning, which is higher, up and
My
away.
jam.
And those are, and that's Chip the Ripper's on that, and that's how I got introduced to Chip the Ripper through that song. Click on it, boom, went into that, and that became a whole nother topic on that. But and then they got bonus tracks, which, like Doe mentioned it earlier, I don't understand how the bonus track is Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon should have been in there somewhere on the album originally, right? It shouldn't. I don't think it should have been a bonus track. It didn't do any justice for that. But TGIF is on there, and Is There Any Love? And the way
This is also a period in time when deluxes were launching alongside the actual album.
Yeah, it was weird.
They're really, it was a weird time.
Yeah.
Didn't this album come with like a holographic cover or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's got a cool cover. It's got a cool album art. Like it's badass.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fire. And like this album, like I don't know what it was, bro. It's just it hit me in every different emotion. Like each act was an emotion in itself. Each track had its own emotions. Like Solo Dolo, going back home from drinking all night, partying with the guys. That was my track because I'm Solo Dolo, just taking my own trip, fucking scared if I'm gonna make it home or not, or because you're doing dumb shit when you're drinking and driving. I don't promote that, ladies and gentlemen. We got Uber now. Fucking take an Uber. It's 30 seconds. You good? Get home.
Uber's a game changer.
Yeah, facts. I wish I had it back then in the day. I would have been lit. Yep. But either way, Solo Dolo, Day and Night. That's the party anthem back in the day. Like to this day, when they go to those EDMs and stuff, they have those little mix. They rip off shit like that and all that. And bro, I don't know what it is. Like this thing, his music is timeless for me because you could just play it. It's 18 songs. It's an hour long. And it was just a classic. And every song was some type of pop music. It was always on the radio. And I don't know, bro. I don't think anybody can really say they hate this album. If you say you hate this album, then I don't really think you listen to music or dislike the album.
No, there's zero skips in this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this album hits home for me too, because like Kid Cudi's from Cleveland. I'm from Ohio myself.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not far from where I'm currently at right now. But like, I remember when this album first came out, because he had some mixtapes with Chip the Ripper beforehand.
Yes.
And we used to listen to him and we'd be like, oh, all right, this is dope. But I never really liked Kid Cudi by himself because he was still, he was different at the time. But like when this came out, I remember it clear as day. I used to be doing the same thing, fucking getting lit off my ass. And one time we was baked as shit and somebody turned this on and it was like a whole trip. And I really respected the album because it comes in later. So I want to say maybe once you get to about Solo Dolo or so, that's when it started picking up for me. And I was like, yo, this album is legendary. But I remember when this came out too, we were thinking to ourselves like, everybody liked it, but we were wondering if it was going to be a classic. And this came back out in 2009. So it's been 12, 13 years. It's a certified classic. This is a staple in hip hop.
100%.
Yeah, actually not even hip hop. I would also go along to classify this as a slightly alternative album too, because even though it has rhythmic characteristics on it as well, his voice and how the way he'll I always say he'll you to death, but at the same time, it has a very non-hip hop characteristic to it as well that I feel like carries the album along with it. It just happens to be the perfect blend.
Yeah, a little bit of like not even house music, but it just has that lo-fi, just dreamy, trippy, hippie music vibe to it, where it's just relaxed. I don't know. Pucha hates all these like descriptions. I'm saying
you had me at the low five. It's low five.
Low five.
Tony with that shit. Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
There's a song. Go ahead.
Dale.
There's a song in particular here of my brother was a big Kid Cudi fan, and so Pursuit of Happiness hits very differently for me. Bro, that shit makes me shed a tear sometimes when I listen to that song. Only because my brother loved that song so much and he was such a big influence in my life. there's I would chop and screw a lot of Kid Cudi's music, and I chop screw a lot of music. And even before my brother passed, Fox, that album that you came out with, there was a song. There was a song on there that I chopped and screwed, and he sent me a text. He's like, "This is the greatest chopped and screwed track that has ever existed."
I feel like this album would lend itself really well to you chopping and screwing it, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so
Hands
good.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was I don't even consider this album like hip hop. Like it's sort of its own genre because they don't really fit in with like R&B. It's not. He raps and shit, but he be singing half the time too. So it's like it's hard to tell what the fuck it even is.
Well, not that it matters too much as far as like how Wikipedia has it categorized as far as the genre. But when I was poking at it, I had to pull it up here because Wikipedia's got the genre for this album is alternative hip hop, psychedelia, and progressive rap.
That's what I was describing.
Rap. Okay, that's yeah.
The concept
rap.
is cool. Like I love how the album is split into like 3 song chunks that are all thematically similar. Right, you got kind of like chill vibes. You got the like scary, nightmare-y type of depressed shit. Then you got kind of like a new awakening. Like, okay, things might be better. And it kind of is a cycle. The album kind of repeats. Like, there's 5 acts to the album. At the end of that 5th act, it like you could replay the album and it kind of just feels like it keeps flowing. Like, I always thought that was really cool.
If you've ever taken any kind of psychedelics and gone on a kind of like self-discovery journey into your own like mind and psyche a bit, this album gives you vibes of that for sure. Like there's a movement, there's a movement and a falling inwards to this album that I really, really enjoyed.
I think he's in this album, like he's taking you into his mind. That's like he's bringing you into his world, but explaining it in a way that you also go through the same world that he's going through. That's why Man on the Moon 2 and stuff, like, bro, a lot of people, Man on the Moon is the best one out of all of them, obviously, but the other ones are just as good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those are actually on my list to listen to now because I saw that there was 2 and 3. I was like, well, now I got to check them all out. I got to see what else is going on.
And I have to give this man
three is crazy. It's like about like some dude like fighting against this like space demon thing. It's like crazy, like what the concept behind all the songs are. So it's I thought I don't know. I enjoy like Tony. I enjoy the Man on the Moon album. One track in particular, like to be different from everybody because I enjoy being different. Heart of a Lion. All right, this song. Yes. The production on this song is so like. It's so interesting because whoever produced that shit, they caught on to like that retro wave or that vapor wave like sound before it caught on. Like go back and re-listen to that and think of it as just listen to the instrumental and you'll be like, oh, one of these vapor wave or retro wave people, they'll release this as a track, just the fucking instrumental. Like it sounds that cool and it has like those retro vibes and all of that. That in particular, it really stood out to me. And then to go back to what Tony was saying about skippings. All right, I'm not a big skipper on albums and shit.
Unless you're going downhill.
Yeah, you gotta skip. It's the most effective way to go downhill.
It's the most effective.
Yeah. You get speed and balance. You won't fall. But the deluxe edition to me takes away from the album because going through those 15 songs, for me, every single song is fantastic. I love every single song. And then Man on the Moon, I also love. I'm bummed out that it's not part of the original album, that it's a deluxe track.
So you love and hate the deluxe track?
You could say so. Because I shouldn't say hate, but I don't like TGIF or Is There Any Love. The last 2 songs on the album, it feels like it doesn't fit. Like it's not the same theme as everything else. And it's like, to me, it don't belong there. Like Man on the Moon is like the perfect like send off to the whole album, and it's the titular song. Like it's the song
That's
that
fair.
is the title of the album. Like it feels like it fits thematically, musically, sonically, all of that. But then the next 2 tracks, I'm just like, these almost sound like real hip hop songs, and it's like, why are they here? Like this is not right. Like, and I was kind of bummed out that Spotify only has the deluxe edition, because I wish I didn't hear that version of the album, because I was like, I loved every song. I was like, yo, this is like I like Lisi loves this album. Like she plays it on occasion, and I never really listened to it. I've listened to various songs, but this is like my first time sitting down and listening to it straight through. And I'm like, this is incredible. There's no skips. I don't got no problems. I like every single thing. There's one song that I didn't like the beginning, and I'm like, oh, okay, this might be, and then it just hooked me anyways. I'm like, all right, cool. Everything on this album is fantastic, and I was like kind of bummed out to get to the end, and those feelings didn't sustain, and I'm like, damn, this deluxe just like took away a little bit. But
No,
It is super weird that that Man on the Moon was not included. It'd be like Thriller not including Thriller on the fucking album.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like even Kid Cudi, bro. Like he put me on a Lady Gaga. That song, Make Her Say, he ripped the sample from Lady Gaga, Poker Face. Like so, like I've obviously followed that. Went to Lady Gaga. Oddly enough, me listening to Lady Gaga song, just had to see how he got it from and whatever. Like put me on to her, and it's just crazy because it's like a lot of these trippy songs or whatever, bro. It's fucking. I don't know what it is. It might be just because of the sound waves that fuck up my brain or something that just makes me attract to these little weird ass sounds. But Lady Gaga also was a fantastic artist herself.
That song Make Her Say is crazy because the beat is cool. Mm-hmm. The sample is fucking fire. The way they sampled it and wove the sample into the song where he's talking about getting a blowjob, basically. He's talking, I'm gonna poke her face with my dick, is what he's saying, really.
Yep.
And then you got Kanye and Common on there, you know, Chicago representing and shit. It's like you can't hate on it. There's nothing to dislike about it.
Let's take some time.
And I've never heard that song until this listen. And I was like, this is incredible. Like,
that
my
one,
life.
That one's got the line that made me laugh out loud, right? The getting brain in the library because I love knowledge.
Yeah.
That line is so good. It's so fucking funny too.
The whole song's about just getting head. And he's talking, I'm a poker face with this dick.
Yeah, pretty much. And then get Kanye and comment on it. I was like, how the fuck you get those collabs? Like,
yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. I was gonna say you gotta appreciate Kanye's artistic views on certain stuff. I feel like only him would be able to flip something like that, you know, and those classic drums that he uses too.
Yep. Yeah. I was gonna say I don't know any of the producers on this whole album except for that song which Kanye West produced.
This pick made total sense to Tony pick. Like listening to the lyrics, listening to the way that the album went through. This seems like a Tony album. I enjoyed every single moment of listening to this.
No, yeah, it definitely. It was hard for me to pick. I had to listen to 3 albums to pick this because I was gonna pick the Carter from Lil Wayne.
Oh, that's a good one,
bro. That's the Carter. Come on, bro. Like everybody knows Lil Wayne, bro. Like you can't not pick Lil Wayne, but it's hard. This one kind of just touched more home for me. But other than that, yeah. What do you guys rate? Give me your ratings. Let me listen to it.
I'm giving this a 5 out of 5, hands down, because I didn't respect it at first, but now I love it, and I see why it's a timeless classic now. So yeah,
this is a classic. This is a must listen if you're a hip hop fan. There's no way you should be sleeping on this album.
Yeah.
Nope.
Same but those exact words. Control C, Control V.
Yeah, I would have to say this is also a must listen. So you gotta listen to this.
Yeah, they ain't no you can't or don't want to. Like this shit is classic.